go. All right. Well, I'm sure you probably get the same question at the start of every interview. So I'm just going to ask you. I saw the film at Sundance with a lot of my friends, a lot of my colleagues, and we all came out with the same reaction. This movie fucked me up. I had no idea where it was going, what the hell was going on here. This was crazy. It's amazing. How are you liking the responses that you're getting about Resurrection from people who've seen it?
The responses have been very good. It's been very encouraging. The critical response has been good. The audience's response has been good. I always knew it was going to be polarizing to some degree. I mean, you don't make a movie like this and expect everybody to embrace it, but especially the ending.
Yeah.
But it's been really heartening that so many people have been into it, and it hasn't been. I think actually more people have embraced it than I thought would, and so that's great.
I don't know, is in our group, everybody who saw it, we were like, we did not know anything about what was going to happen. We were thrown for a loop. So that was great. Talk to me about where the idea for this movie comes from. I'm a firm believer that when people make any movie, that they throw a little bit of themselves in it. So I'm very curious about where your idea for this movie came from.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a very personal movie to the extent that, I mean, absolutely nothing in this movie ever happened to me or anybody I know, at least not literally. But it came, I wrote the first draft a long time ago, and I know I started by thinking about the parental revenge and parental vigilante movie. I thought that was an interesting subgenre to try and engage.
Like a Death Wish sort of thing.
Yeah, like Taken or Death Wish, where like a seemingly ordinary parent, where their child is threatened and they turn into some indestructible superhero because of their sheer love and dedication to their child. And I thought this was really interesting, the way these movies played on basic kind of elemental fears around parenting, around not being able to keep your child safe, not being able to protect them from predators, from harm. And so I was trying to kind of build a story in there just because I thought it would be interesting thematically. And as I was doing that, a friend of mine got involved in a very unhealthy, very toxic relationship with a very unpleasant individual. And I was witnessing that relationship firsthand and trying to get my mind around it, trying to understand it, in an effort to help her as best I could. And I became very interested in the psychology around abuse, and both in terms of the victim and victimizer. And so these themes of coercion and manipulation and gaslighting and trauma bonding all found their way into the movie, and it sort of became what it became through that process. But it was a gradual process.
I'll never hear the phrase "do me a kindness" the same way ever again. Talk to me about Jesus. The casting in this is incredible. Let's start with Tim Roth. I mean, did you visualize who you wanted for that role? The role of David is. I mean, I don't know how you think about who you want to play that, but did you visualize Tim Roth?
I mean, no, when I was writing, I didn't visualize. I mean, I think who I visualized when I was writing was like William Holden or something. I know when I'm writing, I try not to think about actors.
That might have worked too. Yeah.
I know I can never work with, so actors from other generations. So no, I mean, Tim, when we were casting the role, Tim came very readily to mind because of. I feel like we all kind of have a relationship with him. Anybody of a certain age who's been watching movies a lot has a relationship with him. So he carries with them this sense of history and gravitas. And also because Tim is just like effortlessly menacing.
Yeah.
The guy, when he wants to be, I mean, he's a very nice guy, but when he wants to be, he can be very subtly intimidating. And so he came to mind pretty early in the process, but not while we were writing, or while I was writing.
Rebecca Hall, man, I don't know if anybody plays characters who seem like they have it all together, but then they don't, better than she does. Talk to me about getting her for this as well.
Well, Rebecca was, I mean, I was a huge fan before working with her. I'm a bigger fan now. I think she's as good as any actor alive. I just think she's absolutely brilliant. And I should know, I've seen it firsthand day after day. Mm-hmm. And so she was perfect for the role. She was just perfect. So it was obvious that we should try and get her. And we got her the script, and she responded to it readily, immediately. It was a very, very straightforward process. There was something about the project and the character that just resonated with her personally. And so it was a very simple process. She came on board, and it still took a while to get the movie up and running, but she stuck with it. And I mean, I have to say, everything related to Rebecca Hall in this movie was sort of exquisitely easy for me and for production, just because she's such a pro.
Did you run into any challenges in shooting the film? I know over the last couple of years, there have been a lot of filmmakers have faced a lot of challenges in getting productions going, COVID, all sorts of other things. Do you ever face any challenges in this one?
I mean, you always face challenges. We shot during COVID, which is, major pain in the ass, but everybody's doing that now. And no, the challenges that we faced were really very garden variety challenges that you face when you're making a low budget independent movie, like not enough money, not enough time, and constantly trying to think on your feet and adapt what you're doing to what you have and what's available to you and what you can do. So that's always frustrating. It's always exhausting. But beyond that, no, there weren't any like super unique challenges. It was hard, like any little movie is hard.
Were there any movies that you drew from, in terms of like inspirations for this? I know you talked about kind of Death Wish and movies along those lines, but was there anything?
Honestly, I'm not. I think I saw Death Wish when I was like 12, but I don't. I was definitely thinking.
I was just thinking more of the genre than anything.
It wasn't like the influence of the movie. I mean, there were a lot of them. I try not to think too much about a single movie when I'm writing or making something, because you don't want to end up feeling like you're mimicking something or you're just recapitulating something. But I remember we talked a lot about a lot of American paranoid thrillers from the 70s, like Clue to The Conversation. We talked a lot about Safe, the Todd Haynes movie Safe, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. And Little Murders, another kind of weird paranoid movie from the 70s that I love, came up quite a bit. We talked about Trouble Every Day, which is a movie I really admire in various capacities, but there wasn't like one movie where we're like, this is our North Star and we want to go towards that. We tried to aggregate a lot of different influences and make it feel unique.
What are you hoping that people walk away from Resurrection with? Like, what are you hoping they get from the movie?
Yeah, this is the question that is always the hardest for me. I want them to have an experience. I want them to be entertained.
I didn't want to stump you, man. I was just,
it's just like, because I feel like I'm always like, well, I want people to like the movie.
Right.
But, I want them to like the movie, but I want them to feel it's just worth their time and worth their thought and conversation afterwards. And it's something that's stimulating to them. And I invite any and all interpretations of this movie and how we conclude it. And I just want people to feel like it was it was a real meal of an experience and worth their whatever money they spent on it, really.
If it makes you feel better, I don't think anybody can see this movie and not come away with something. Like whether they love it or hate it or whatever, I don't think people are going to hate it, but I think people are going to come away feeling something for it. I don't know if it's possible to watch this movie because it goes places, and I think people are going to react to it one way or another. So
that's the idea. That was the hope, is that even if you're not on board with this movie, it will elicit a strong reaction and be a memorable experience.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, this has been fantastic, man. I appreciate you taking some time with me, and best of luck with Resurrection, man. Really, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.